Hi, everybody. It's been 2 weeks since we've done a Wednesday comment reading video. So here we are today, going through the comments on the videos that I uploaded in my absence. Hopefully we have some good ones. I'm sure we do. I did pick them myself. Got a little bit of discussion to have today. And let's just get into it. If you want to be in this video, you leave a YouTube comment and you never know, might make it in if it's good enough or annoying enough or insightful enough or anything like that. Cool? Alright. We'll start here, Mr. Galpertuk. Galpertuk, a YouTube member, by the way. I agree with you. Unfortunately, the novel part is worse. If it had the full-length games, it could have passed as a good commercial, but it can't even teach people how the game play. Yeah, I don't think Digimon Liberator actually does teach a good job on how to play Digimon. It would be better if it was like Card Fight Vanguard, an anime that actually taught you how to play the game. But I think that skipping over key parts of the actual game in the webcomic or even the novel or whatever is not a great way to learn how to play the game if you're some new person reading Liberator hoping you'll learn how to play the game. It does an okay job at teaching, but it would be incomplete. And myself, I would have confusion. Apparently the novel is worse. I don't know. I'm not interested in the novel at all. I'm barely interested in the webcomic as it is. Like I think I said in the video, a 6 out of 10. But that's about it for that. Vault has something to add, though, to it. To further add on to your point of it becoming a video game, this would be super cool to be played as an ongoing game as it releases new chapters for story mode, ongoing patches. Imagine playing as the characters for each chapter where you can learn about the new cards or types and how the decks work. I feel like this would be a really good way to immerse the players within the whole Liberator concept. I agree. You know, this seems like he's suggesting to DLC, which I don't hate. You know, add DLC. Buy a game, make a nice base game on the Switch, and then like give us a little bit of DLC every few months to complement a new set or whatever. I think that would be cool. So yeah, nice point. Green Hill Mario. Still think the best chapter is the Arisa Violet game, just because Arisa is best girl. Genuinely had a she's just like me for real when she said I couldn't sleep because I spent the entire time deck building, or when her and her Sendril did the Gainax arm fold. I don't know what that is. Everything other than that has been just like you said, 6 out of 10. Arisa is my favorite character in the whole thing. With close being pretty close, but Arisa is my girl, for real. She makes the whole thing worth reading. It's just a shame that she's not the main character. Otherwise, I think that with my yellow bias, if Arisa and the yellow puppets were the main character and deck instead of the guy with the birds, I would enjoy it just a little bit more. But, you know, edgy male card protag, you know, it's been this way since Ash and Pokemon and Yugi, Jaden, Yusei, and all the others in Yu-Gi-Oh! And Tai and Digimon and Davis and Digimon and Takado and Digimon. It's all sexist. It's sad, but it is the way it is. Hopefully one day we will live in a world where your predominant lead in a good enough bulk of card game or video game series can be female. And I know that someone in the comments is going to say, well, actually, X game or Y game or Z series or whatever has a female protagonist and blah, blah, blah. Probably exists. I'm sure somewhere out there it exists, but it's not commonplace enough for me to know about it. Therefore, it's not being done well enough. Come on a tangent there. But anyway, there we go. Good comment. Anyway, Benin Wisman. I think this is my EX08 chains review video. I agree with all that. I'm just glad the protection on Monon X isn't as all-inclusive as that on Monon X. I think protection effects needs to be dialed back, not given out to every deck, or at least only give them to decks that lack inoffensive capabilities. I think that protection effects are a big problem with the Digimon TCG landscape as it is. It feels like, oh, this card isn't good enough by itself, let's give it protection. Oh, it's broken now because of that protection? Great! Like, that just seems to me that it's the wrong way to do things. You know, try just making a better card not a card that's like a Metapod versus Metapod scenario. It's just hard to deal with. You know what I mean? I could talk about this for hours, but I will not do that. I'll just say, yep. Salty. Mark my word, after ban limit on Mirage or Purple Yellow Gang, we're going to see Digimon X can be replacing new top meta. So, this is interesting, right? I briefly touched upon this on my review video, and I touched about it again on Market Watch this week. But EX08 is just unfortunately not a good set. It gives you a lot of tools for some things, and that's the best that it does. It's not a tier 1 set. It's not a game-changing set. And to those of you that in the comments that will say, well, EX sets aren't supposed to be game-changing. They're only supplementary. There are EX sets that have literally changed the whole game. So I don't want to hear that. Moving on, though, past that little just offset comment, a ban list could make this playable. A lot of stuff in the set playable. However, I think that we're not going to get it until probably closer to 2.5 release. And then what's going to happen is future sets are going to really use the cards from this set as a foundation to build and be stronger. So like maybe EX8 right now isn't the set that everyone wants to talk about, but maybe in 6 months we'll look back at EX08 and say, oh wow, the cards in this set are all of a sudden really good because you need them in X, Y, or whatever. I think that'll be the role of the set in the future, but only time will tell, right? I know that myself, my buy list has a lot of EX08 Liberator stuff on it because I'm expecting a lot of that stuff to just go up in price, even if it's by 50%. You know, it all adds up. So I don't know, just some stuff and some things, some Mario thoughts for you there. Captain Gamer. While Tyranno isn't top tier, it's probably the best new deck out of the set. It now doesn't look like it had great payoff, but you need to factor in Metal Tyranno. Metal Tyranno gives a bounce protection and D-Digi protection, which is near unheard of in the game. Factor in Fortitude. Dino's actually impossible to remove from the other deck. At least that one turn. Personally, wouldn't give it meme status, but it's also not top tier. I disagree very strongly. However, I am open to having my mind changed. Today is actually the first day that me and my testing group have sat down and with the EX08 decks and tested them against the meta. The Pyramidimon deck is doing great. I love it. My goodness. We have some Medieval Gallant Toolbox stuff. It's doing great. Hell, even Gallantmon, the deck itself, ain't too bad right now. A deck that is not popping off, though, is Tyrannomon. It's just not good enough. But I'll caveat this with my previous thought. If we get a ban list that hits all the decks that say Tyrannomon can't deal with, because this guy seems to think that the Dino is actually impossible to remove for nearly every deck. That's just wrong. But if the ban list were to take out the decks that can out Tyrannomon, the big Dinomon, then the story changes. Then maybe you have a boss monster with the thing where you just can't get rid of it, and then it becomes a playable deck. But you know, I'm open to having my mind changed, and if all of a sudden a Ultimate Cup in February 8th or whenever it is, 22nd or whatever happens, and like this deck takes a couple spots in the top 16, I might revise my opinion. But until then, no way, Jose. Assuming there's no ban list between now and then either. Otherwise, you know, then it just might, right? And I'm going to keep saying it. EX08 is a set that should have had a ban list go with it, like EX07. You might remember I said the same thing about EX07. It was the set that a ban list saved. The ban list saved the set. It made it from very bad to actually very good. And EX08 did not get the same treatment. But, you know, it's still young. Ban that could drop it at any time. You never really know. So, yeah, I'll leave it with that. Enigmatic Heart 666. Thank God they don't listen to content creators. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is regarding my ban list prediction video. You know, I'm okay with people telling me, no, Mario, you're wrong. but you have to tell me why you think I'm wrong, right? Like, this guy, see, this guy is just a cancerous tumor of a human, a waste of cells. You know, why would you just say that? If you think I'm so wrong, comment in this video, tell me why my choices are no good. Tell me why, you know, what your choices would be or something. I think this was in response to the ban list video. Honestly, I don't really remember at this exact moment in time, but it could be on anything. This is just a very general thing that occasionally I see sometimes. Someone will be like, no, Mario, nope, but not actually give me any reason why. At least have a slightly educated reason. Like, at least this guy, while wrong about the Tyrannomon deck, at least he's giving his reasons as to why he thinks the deck is not meme status. At least he's giving us something. He's fighting his cause. This guy, he's just an idiot. So, like, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But as you can kind of see here, the people in the comments were all like, this guy is crazy. Which is honestly fine. like I don't know what else to say to that. Just, if you're going to tell me I'm wrong, at least tell me why I'm wrong. Now, that would be really cool. At least provide some evidence, some facts or something, right? All right, what else do we got going on here? We have Steph FXIII, a YouTube member. I totally agree. The game needs to change. We've reached a point where everything that's not completely busted is not worthy of being played competitively. It's just a battle of broken mechanics right now. Which is true. Yes. It's one unfair broken deck against another unfair broken deck against another unfair broken deck. Like, people ask me, you know, hey Mario, why Demon Lords win Nationals? Well, when you have a card that reads, I can just burn all your security, kill all your stuff, and call it a day, and it happens to have a good matchup into Mirage, again, caveat, a good Mirage player can handle it, but I rest my case on that. You know, you go into a meta with a properly built deck for the meta, and you have a boss monster that just says, nope, see ya. It's really hard, you know, to say that that's fair and justified. You know what I mean? It is broken. There are, like, this card, Ogudamon, oh my god, this card should not exist, but it does, because that's the way Bandai decided to make their game. So, I don't know. And some people might say, well, Ogudamon's not the problem, actually, it's everything else on the deck. No. If that wasn't the boss monster, you know, we'd be having a different conversation right now. Moving along. DigiDread. The Galaxy Tamers are truly poor game design and really lack of testing it by Bandai. They simply have to just let archetype lock it and problem solved. I know it makes the game more frigid, but the fact Galaxy as an archetype isn't putting out numbers with its own cards is concerning. Mirage definitely needs to go, love all turns, just not on him. Yeah, there were some people, I think there was like one or two people in the comments of this video that said that my suggestion to hit the Galaxy Tamer is just dumb, or I can't remember the wording, but not a good idea. And to be fair, if you remember, I think it was like at the bottom of my list, the very least likely of it to happen. Look, this Tamer, this red dual Tamer is just nuts. If HPD is at 1, why is this Tamer not at 1? And you'll say, well, because you need 2 bodies, but you need to play some Galaxy cards. No, like you know what I mean? It's every turn, too. It's just on play or main. It doesn't really matter. And the fact that it works with anything is just crazy. You know, I blame the one Canadian gal, you know who you are, that pilled me on the Galaxy deck. And I've been since just brewing Galaxy builds with just random top ends of random nonsense. And, like, let me tell you, that Tamer is something else. That Tamer really, really, really should not exist. But I think that Bandai just will not hit it. I hope I'm wrong, but, yeah, no, bad card design, absolutely. I know some people used to say, I remember when the card design team was changing, I think it was like BT14 around there or something. I can't remember exactly when it was. But people were like, oh, these designers will actually make things a lot better. And they actually made the game worse. Like, it's crazy. Moving along. Lost the File TCG. It's interesting that you mentioned that people don't really want deck profiles. I have a smaller channel than yours and was having a profile during 2043, but starting switching to more news type channel and cards to get before an expansion drop, that change has made my channel boost and people's more interested in that type of content. And then Zero here responds, people don't want deck profiles because there is no spice left in the game. Benin designs decks now with good support does not good, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. You know, I find it interesting. And the reason I don't do deck profiles, besides I don't think the community wants them as much as they used to want them, is just because there are people who do it better. They're like, why would I just sit in front of a camera and make a deck profile when I have someone like a Vault who will properly have edits and really cool animations and whatever on his deck profiles? Like, even if my deck is better, I'm not saying it is, but even if it was just a better deck, it could be a regional topping deck, regional winning deck like I've had before, whatever. We don't live in a day anymore where those get all the views, right? We just don't live in that day anymore. But if the deck has really good edits and people know your name because of the really good edits, and you apply yourself to your base, that's what does it. It's not so much that deck profile per se, it's how the deck profile is done. It's kind of like the same thing with gameplay videos. Why make a gameplay video when there are people who can edit it and make it better? I'm just left in the dust. It's the same thing. I stand, though, that once my editor gets his shit together, if he chooses to, his other things going on, whatever. I told him it's not a high priority. But if he decides to, do it, make some animations and whatever, then I will give you some deck profiles, and we'll see how they do in the algorithm, and we'll go from there. But yeah, we're just not in the days anymore where people really care about my highly tested decks or stuff like that. And the people that do care about that, there's a YouTube membership, and they don't need a deck profile for that. So that's that. Yeah. Professor Walls, love the content no matter what you do. Just hope Digimon turns itself around so we can be hyped for certain things. Been falling out of love recently due to the sets lacking with the cards that actually get me excited. Come down to New Brunswick and see if we can take down our local scene. New Brunswick is a bit of a drive. If I do this local legend thing, it has to be drivable. I'd say 4 or 5 hours is the max. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. You never know. Safety Dan. I love to see promo reprints and future promos see better pull rates. Getting 1 or 2 random promos from a whole box of boosters just feels bad and significantly raises the cost of entry to the game. The low cost of entry was a draw for many players at the start, and seeing that goes away takes the win out of my sales. I just agree. There's nothing I disagree with this. It makes perfect sense. I have nothing to add to it. It's just the way it is. Oreo X, I've heard this Megatin idea mentioned a few times. I'm curious on how you do it if given the opportunity. I'll tell you. So you might remember, if you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh!, there was this Megatin that came out that had Nibiru and D-Shifter and all that stuff in it. And the packs itself were good, but you also had that promo pack to try to pull some good promos like Nibiru and D-Shifter and whatever. Okay? I would effectively do it exactly like that Mega Tin, where you have your Mega Packs, and you have, maybe some new rarities or some new foiling patterns for your old cards. And yeah, you have your good cards in there, obviously, that make them a little bit harder to pull, so it incentivizes more people to buy them. But then also you have a box topper pack, and that box topper pack can have a promo. Maybe out of a 6-card promo set or something, or 8-card promo set, there's 2 promo cards in the promo pack. And then, buy a case, you can get a lot of the promos and, whatever else. That's exactly how I would do it. It would be fine because the promo distribution would be just enough, and the Megatins itself would include and reprint previous harder to get promos. And then it becomes a constant cycle every year. And, for some people, every year is too slow for Megatins, and I've heard that argument before, but it really is just a good way to do it. They would sell very easily, they could sell on the shelves, no problem, and people would have reasons to buy them. If you don't want to try to get previously or currently good meta cards in a nice different rarity or foiling pattern or whatever, then maybe you'll buy the Megatins because there are good promos inside it that aren't that hard to pull. That's exactly how I would do it. That's exactly it. Like that's it. That's really it. That's exactly it. I don't think else to add to it. Kish, one thing I have on my wish list is for an official Digimon TCG online simulator to get released. Yeah, you, me, and pretty much everyone else. Yes, absolutely, without a doubt. And the last comment today goes to Max to Para Gaming. You can tell when people have started playing Digimon by their stance on if they like webcam play or not. If you were there from the beginning, you'll know that webcam locals were gas, and honestly the heart of the Digimon TCG community. I agree with this and disagree with this at the same time. There are a lot of people out there that are okay with online play because they played since day one, and that was all we had because of COVID. Max is right about that. But there are outliers, and there are people like myself that understood it as we have to do it because we have to do it, but please just stop. You know what I mean? But if anything, we know that they're not going to stop this anytime soon. If, in fact, they're actually going to boost it with these online regionals having online Ultimate Cup side events, which we know about now, they're not going to stop that anytime soon. It seems like their approach is still going to be the same as it was in terms of splitting it between online and offline. Hopefully they can shift it to more offline than online. But no, I'm convinced that even though I'd love them gone forever, they probably never will go away for sure, for good. And that'll be it for today. A little bit long, but yeah, it's been a while. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you later. Bye!